What is shaking, everybody? Welcome back to Turntable Tales. We got me, we got Brandon, we got a special episode and a special guest. Right there, we got Adam from The Freight. Adam, what's up, dude?
How is it going, guys?
It's going great, man. It's going great.
Doing good, man. Doing good.
It's thrilled to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, absolutely, man. It's a pleasure to have you, dude. We haven't really... Actually, this is the first Turntable Tales interview, man. So I'm stoked, dude.
Sick.
I'm stoked to have you.
That's awesome.
Yeah, looking forward to this one.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah, guys. So yeah, today, special guest, Adam right here. We're going to talk about the new album. Adam came out with a new album. He's from the band The Freight. The album is Tales of Maybe. The website is thefreightband.com, thefreightband.com. I want to get this out of the front. I'll mention it a couple times, but I want to, guys, charge over there, grab this thing. It's awesome. Brandon and I were spinning it today. The Freight pays, these are both on wax, but you can also get these on CD. You can stream this anywhere, great streaming can be found. And from Boston. And pays close attention to the vinyl, which we appreciate, right? I know you put a lot of effort into this thing. Right on the sticker, we got lacquers cut from tape by Ryan K. Smith at Sterling Sound. We got sourced from the tapes console to lathe, pressed at Fidelity record pressing, Oxnard, Cali. So my old stomping ground. So that's awesome, dude. That's really cool.
It was we wanted to go big with it. It was our, you only get one debut record, so we wanted to make sure we did it, try not to cut any corners and really, I'm the vinyl guy in the group, so they kind of left me to do it. And I really wanted to make sure that we took the steps to try to get it to maximize the quality of the sound,
When did you bring it up to them? Were they kind of like vinyl?
They yes, but I knew that what we wanted to do, and just having listening to records, I know that, I just love the sound, and I knew that I wanted to capture us for vinyl. I really feel like we were a band, kind of like a vintage rock and roll sounding band that could potentially sound really good on vinyl. We've released music digitally the last, several years. But this project from day one was vinyl in mind. We wanted it to sound great on vinyl. We wanted it to sound open, not compressed, not, all those things that I think that we love about good sounding vinyl,
Right. What was that like, being a fan of vinyl and then seeing it having it in your hands, man? Was that just, you were just kind of a super fan out on it?
Yeah, it was like, it really was like a dream come true. It was so cool. It really was. It was really cool. I opened up, I think I have like a short video maybe on I have a really small YouTube channel, but I think I did like an unboxing of when it first came. It came on this huge pallet, like this like freight company like dropped it off of right in front of my door, and it's like it was this huge pallet of box of Fidelity records. So it was cool. Like, and even on the box, I wish I had one in right here, but even on the shipping box it says like Freight 001. So it's all like so I'm gonna keep the box. You know what I mean? It's cool. It's just like everything's marked. It was pretty cool. It was a very cool feeling.
That's so cool, dude.
Yeah.
Nice.
How long has this record been in the making? I wasn't sure. So you said you have released some stuff digitally. How long have you guys been working on this?
This record, I started writing these songs for this record over the last several years. However, like we started recording it, I want to say that like the middle of January in 2024. Okay. So it's been over a year in the process, and it took us a year probably of recording, and then we went through the mixing process, and then we had it out to get mastered and cut and pressed and everything like that after that. So it was really over a year from its kind of inception, our first recording.
Nice.
That's cool.
And now you kind of mentioned that, like the year and the time taken to put it together. Like one thing I'm always curious about, and I feel like I really want to take advantage of when I actually have the artist there, is just to kind of dig in and see, is there a song that you would kind of point out on this album that's like really, really personal to you? it's like when I was listening to, I listened to it a couple of times, and I remember when I was listening to I think it was Long Road Home, and then also the title track. There was just something about that automatically made me think he's telling us some personal story here. So I don't know if is one of those songs, or is there another song that you really feels like really personal to you?
Both of those songs certainly are, for sure. Long Road Home is kind of that, I wrote it, over the last few years when, things were all crazy and stuff. And it's pretty personal about like, just as far, it's personal, but like, I feel like a lot of great songs are probably written by the person who's like, that it's maybe happened to, or like the idea is happening to them or whatever. But I think maybe what makes people connect with it is that it's like relative, right? Like we can all kind of identify when you hear a good song, you're like, if it clicks with you, that might not have happened to you, but it might trigger something that you had that same emotion with, and so that song Long Road Home, that was one, Steven Anderson, the bass player, he wrote that bass line. It's got that bass line, that do 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 in the beginning there, and he came to us with that, and then I wrote the lyrics and the melody and everything, and that's one that's definitely, it was when, I don't think anybody was feeling all that great, a couple of years ago, and and it was just like, I think I'll go outside for a while. There ain't been much here lately to make me smile. It's just kind of what I was feeling, but I'm willing to bet that more than just me was feeling that way. You know what I'm saying? So just that kind of thing, and it's not even that it's about that time period. That can be about any time in your life when you're feeling sad or whatever, when you're feeling anything, that's kind of how I write too, it's just like, not necessarily like a specific instance, but like more of like a, off of an emotion or something.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah. That's kind of stuff Brandon and I talk about all the time, man. I really appreciate that. And even like interpretations, right? In that, you kind of, as an artist, you put it out there. And even if you can't specifically identify with the exact thing, there's going to be something in your life that's going to match up to it, right? And you're going to be able to like connect it with something that you've been through.
Yep.
I love how the album starts. Dude, I should have mentioned this, but I love it's like you got your guitar in one channel, right? And then everything kind of starts to come in on the other and stuff. And it was like really, it was cool, dude. It was cool. I don't hear a lot of that these days. It was kind of like, felt kind of retro. That was fun.
Yeah, we went for that big kind of drop, the guitar intro, and that have everything drop in after the first, few measures.
So as I'm looking through it, I mean, your name is all over it. I mean, it's like, it seems like you wrote just about everything on there, right?
Yeah, I'm the songwriter. I write all the lyrics. In the music, I also write the music. Well, the ones that are just credited to Tiro, that's like my music too. The ones that are Tiro Anderson, like for example, that song Long Road Home, Steven Anderson, the bass player, he had that bass line in the other part of the song and brought that into us. And then we all kind of like arrange it, and I wrote the melody and the lyrics and sort of arrange the song and put it together. But the lyrics and the melodies, I write all that.
Gotcha. So that makes me think, on that note, is this the first time you guys have been like in a recording studio and stuff, or had you already kind of been there?
No, we started recording around 2020, 2019.
Okay.
And our first single we released in like August of 2020. Again, this was all digitally, streaming services. All this stuff's out there. I think we have maybe like 9 singles that are out there before this. And we recorded them all with our good friend, producer, Jeff Rosen, who also is the producer and the recording engineer and the mixing engineer on this record. Jeff is awesome. He's a great musician in his own right. And he's a friend of ours. We in our kind of hometown studio right on the South Shore of Massachusetts. He's based here too. And, he's really good to us and works, we also have a lot of fun hanging out. So it doesn't always feel like work when we're doing work,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Nice.
It's always nice.
Nice.
Yeah, it is good. Good atmosphere. And I think that helps, that helped us accomplish the sound that we were going for, as Jeff was wanting to get it just like we were wanting to get it. And, I think that really helped,
Yeah.
For sure.
And that's the kind of cool stuff I love hearing about. It's just I mean, let's say we can talk about the mastering, talking about where it was pressed and those type of things, but it's all that behind the scenes stuff that only a fly on the wall would kind of know. So, which also kind of makes me really curious. Like when I was listening to it, again, I went through it a couple of different times, and I remember there were moments where I kind of felt like that kind of has a little bit of a Aerosmith feel to it. That has a little bit of a Train feel to it. That has a little bit of a Marshall Tucker. There was like all these different bands that were kind of coming up when I was listening to it. So that made me really curious. Like, what are kind of your main influences in terms of just knowing what music had kind of affected you and really designed you to be the type of artist that you ended up being?
Yeah, well, that's really cool. Although, I mean, all those bands are fantastic,
Right.
I definitely love, classic rock and roll for sure. For me, it starts, it does start with the Beatles for me. But from there, it's really, rhythm and blues, soul music, the blues itself, you know what I mean? Like I love traditional blues. I love electric blues. I love British blues. I love Jeff Beck. I love Jimi Hendrix, Stevie Wonder. I love melody. I love vocal melody. I think that's, why I love Paul McCartney and Stevie Wonder so much. And those kinds of things, vocal melody, along with like kind of that rhythm and blues thing. Those are big influences on me for sure.
Okay. And again, that makes total sense because I remember when I was listening to, I think it was This Town. I think
This Time.
That's what it was. Yeah. Yep. I had that feeling of there's some type of Motown underlying type of thing going on. I don't know. That's what I get when I really start to like sit down and analyze music. It's just like, what is this making me feel and what is this making me think of? And I just think it's really cool when that many different elements pop up throughout one album. So I can feel all those influences in the album, which is really cool.
That's awesome, man. A huge compliment. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the first thing that impressed me too, was just like the diversity on it, dude. Is that I thought side one and side two sound very different in a way, and
yep.
The first, trying to go from memory, the first couple tracks, I took some notes actually.
That's what I did. I don't expect you to know track for track yet. It's all good.
But really kind of bluesy and rocking and stuff. And then we I think it's track 4, Come So Far. I almost got this feeling of like when I'm listening, this is going to sound like out there. I'm not trying to say that you sound like this band, but like I get the same feeling when I'm listening to like 311, for example. They got all their rockers and then they toss something in there that's really kind of chill and a cool vibe. Suddenly that came to mind for me and I was like, oh, this is cool, dude. And that was like a really cool moment because I was like, yes, there's some real diversity on here. And it was just fun, man. And then track 5, Somebody, I'm starting to hear some wah-wah pedal and stuff. And I was like, all right, this is cool.
It's funny. So those two songs, Somebody and Come So Far, those are also co-written by Steven Anderson. Those are the ones that Steven brought to the band. So Steven brought that, the bass line, the real do the real slow kind of bass line on Come So Far. So that's a slower track, and then that funky Somebody do, you know what I mean? That really like pop kind of thing that happens on Somebody. That's really again, that was Steven writing the music. I did the lyrics and the melody, but that's credit to Steven for bringing in some cool music for us to work on.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, it's cool because I mean, we heard some organ. Obviously, we kick off right away with some organ. Yeah. Am I mistaken? I'm trying again, going from memory, but one of those songs has some harmonica kind of in the first portion of it too.
Yes, that's awesome. So our keyboardist Greg, he's the one who plays, the organ and the keys parts and everything like that. And they were on me. And the main one that has the harmonica is Home. And that track Home, I think it's like track 3. And it's in the intro and in the middle and at the end again. Yeah. And they were all like, actually, I think it was Steven was like, dude, this track needs a harmonica in there. And I'm like, man, come on. Like, and that was one that's my song that I like wrote the music and the lyrics and everything to it for a while, whatever. And I'm like, really, man, a harmonica? I'm like, come on, dude. Like, I'm not sure. Like, I'm all for a harmonica. I love the harmonica, but like, I'm like, I don't know if I see that. And then like, Greg was like, he kept not being able to come in to the studio the day that he was going to come in to overdub it. I'm like, well, sorry guys, no harmonica. And then he finally came in and did it, and it sounded really good. I'm like, yeah, that worked.
That's awesome, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's always cool to pick up stuff like that because
It is.
correct me if I'm wrong, but I could have swore in somebody did I hear some cowbell?
Yes.
I could have.
Yes.
That's what
Yep.
man, my
Exactly.
ear is always well in tune for a cowbell, man.
Yep.
I freaking love it.
100%. 100%. That's one of my favorite parts of that song.
That's awesome.
It is.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
that definitely kind of shows the diversity of what you guys do, man. It just seems like you're not scared to really go, just kind of go wherever you feel the song takes you or what the song is calling for.
That's honestly, that's everything, man. I'm an older guy myself. I'm not a young buck anymore. So I've been around the block a little bit musically. At least I've been around long enough to know what I want, like in a band, and what I wanted for this record. And I've been around long enough to know that you have to serve the song. Like, the song has to exist on another thing above yourself. It's one thing that you created it, but you, like, that harmonica thing's a perfect example, right? Like, I didn't want the harmonica, but we brought it in, we tried it, and it completely worked for the song. It served the song. So, like,
Right.
serving the song, whatever it is, whether it's a 2-minute guitar solo or it's 15 seconds of a harmonica intro, that's what you do. And that's like, you got to just take your ego out of it. And that's I don't know, the older I get, the more I realize how important that is.
Yeah. Just kind of staying on that train of thought when you were talking about like the way you guys kind of come together to serve the song. Like, what would you say is probably the biggest thing you hope people take away from the album? Like when they sit down and, put the needle down from start to finish, what do you kind of hope they walk away with?
I that's a great question. I think, two things. I think first and foremost, if people can connect with the music, like on some kind of personal level, you know what I mean? Whether it's the lyrics or enjoy the melodies or on whatever level, some kind of musical level, even if you don't, obviously it's not it's not, whether it's, even if it's not like necessarily your musical style or your musical taste or whatever, maybe there's something on there that you could say like, oh, that, that's cool. I can appreciate that in some way. And if that's the case, then I guess that would lead me to the next thing, where is we did put a lot of effort into, at the very least, having the sound quality be as excellent as an independent band could do. And so even if the music wasn't your thing, I would at least hope that you could walk away from the vinyl record and say, damn, that at least that's a nice sounding record. And that's like, there's some nice sound quality going on there. And they really worked hard to at least get the sound right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Very nice. Is you making me think, is there a second one coming? Have you guys started thinking about it, working on it? You writing anything?
We always got things in the incubator. We're always like, every rehearsal, someone's going to bring something in and we'll jam something, we'll create something. There's always things cooking. Yeah. And we have a couple songs that didn't make the cut on this one that are pretty much ready to go. So we got a little bit of a head start too, which is cool.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. That's cool, dude.
Yeah.
Well, stick around. I think we'll have some fun because I did see some comments in the, watching some of your other interviews and stuff. So I thought, hey, why don't we get into the collection a little bit? But let me just take a second, refresh everybody's memory. Here it is, The Freight. It's Tales of a Maybe. Go check out thefreightband.com. Pick up your copy. They got it on wax. They put a lot of effort into making sure this thing sound great, just like Adam just said. But you can also grab... Oh, hell yeah. There it is.
Nice.
There it is. Is that for sale?
I know, dude.
That's cool.
There you go.
Really
yeah.
Cool.
So grab it on CD, grab the wax, go stream it. However you have to, go check it out because this thing is great. All right. Well, hey, what about the collection, dude? Like, so you're a fan of vinyl. We know this was a big deal putting this out, having the palette show up at the house and everything for you. How did that all start? When did you start getting into records? Are you a big collector?
Yeah, well, so it's so funny. This is actually, I really love you guys, in particular your channel, the way you approach like talking about vinyl and collecting. I really take a lot from it because I think it seems like we're of a similar age, and I have records were always around, like in my house with my parents when I was growing up, in the 80s and everything, but like they weren't huge musical people or anything, but we just had, we had like the Thrillers and the Prince records and whatever. And, and my sister, she's 7 years older than me. It's me and her. And she had a record player, and she had the things like, the Duran Durans and the Men at Work and the, In Excess and those kinds of things. So there was definitely that going on as far as vinyl goes. But that was when I was younger, and I never owned my own records in the 80s. I was of the age, I don't know if you guys can relate to this at all, where I went right into tapes.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Did you guys experience that at all? Or I know you guys
too.
had vinyl early on, but like, did you guys go to tapes? Did you make that transition?
Oh, yeah. I know.
Yeah,
Oh, go ahead, Brandon. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. Well,
Jason. No, I was going to say, and I don't want to speak for you, but as soon as the boom boxes came out and the Walkmans came out, like, yes, it was all about the tapes and being able to take it with you and stuff. So, hell yeah, definitely got into the tapes.
Yeah. And so tapes, and Brandon, were you the same?
Yeah, because pretty much when I first got into music and the boom boxes and all of that, I couldn't afford to go buy vinyl. So everything was dubbed in mixtapes and then whatever few cassettes I could afford. So younger, I never had a vinyl collection at all.
Right. And so then like from there for me, like I went right into the 90s, which was like full blown CD mode.
Yeah.
Right.
So I didn't start collecting in the 90s or the 80s, you know what I mean? I started a little bit in the, I went to Berklee College of Music. A little bit after there, I would buy records here and there. I inherited my parents still alive, but they gave me their old vintage Kenwood receiver. So I had that nice little, nothing fancy, just a little vintage setup I had with a couple little tiny bookshelf speakers. And, I'd buy records occasionally, but I was buying like beat up used records thinking that was, the pinnacle of listening to vinyl and like whatever. So I'd buy, this awful crappy copy of Revolver and think it was the coolest thing in the world, and it couldn't even get through 2 songs, it was skipping so much, you know what I mean? But then I started as I got older, and again, that was the time when streaming took over, you know what I mean? So it was like, and getting away from even CDs. So I was doing all those things too, you know what I mean? Like that was easy to have your iPod and have your whole library on your iPod. That was a cool new thing in the early 2000s, And so I was doing that. And then I eventually got into buying like just Beatles records and trying to buy like clean copies of Beatles records. That's kind of what started it. And that was probably in the early 2010s, mid 2010s. And then from there, it kind of just grew and grew and grew and grew. But so it was, obviously music was always a big part of my life, and collecting music was always a big part of my life. I have a ton of CDs. I unfortunately don't have my tapes anymore, but the vinyl thing started for me probably later than you guys, obviously. But like, once it bit me, like it's, now I can't envision my life without it.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Yeah.
What kind of a collector are you now?
I've been totally, honestly, like I watch all you guys in the VC community. I really do. And I have my own taste, but there are things that I pull from everybody. Like I've really, I think, in the 2020-ish era, when the COVID thing started, it was all like, all those, we were getting slammed with all those new reissues, you know what I mean? Which I like reissues, I think they have their place, but I'm definitely coming all the way around back to the OGs, you know what I mean? And I love it all, you know what I mean? I really do. I don't kind of have a preference, but I'm definitely to the point now where, I'm trying not to buy crap. I'm trying not to buy bad beat up copies of anything that's below like a really good VG plus. I don't want it. So, it's definitely evolved, and it took a while to get here, but it's like, I feel like my collection's in a really good place. And, but I think maybe it's like that for everybody. There's learning curves, and you go in ebbs and flows of spending a butt ton of money.
Right. It's a really good point that you're making there about the kind of the journey that you've gone through with collecting. Because I think a lot of times when people first get started collecting, they have these ideas of, maybe trying to look at what I'm doing or look at what you're doing or Jason or anybody else for that matter, and thinking that's the way it's supposed to be, or that's how I, supposed to do it. But it's really just it's a journey, and as you change as a collector and desire things and don't want other things, you just kind of go through those shifts, and that's just a very natural way to do it.
Definitely. It's kind of like you gotta go through that initial, the growing pains of it, and then to get really comfortable with what you want and what you don't want.
Yeah,
right,
exactly,
right.
Yeah.
And and if I think back about when I first started and I was hitting the dollar bins and getting the rough stuff and all that type of, that's not where I'm at now, and I wouldn't go back and get that stuff, but I had an absolute blast going through that stage. Like, I wouldn't change that for anything.
Definitely. I still have some of those really awful Beatles records that I bought for, whatever.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's kind of a tough time. I know I'm always jealous. Brandon talks about how he snagged a lot of the stuff that you have, right, dude? From like back in the day when we were kind of in the dark ages and stuff was really affordable. I kind of skipped that whole part because like you, Adam, I was like busy with CDs and then streaming and all that. So I come back into it a little while, several years ago, and it was like, whoa, what happened?
Yes. Totally. And I think that's really I think that's why it's so easy for newcomers to the vinyl thing to get caught up in that, because you go like, whoa, like there's a reissue of that? Is that going to be way different than this one? And then you get down that rabbit hole, and before you know it, you have 4 copies of something you don't need to have 4 copies of.
Right.
And,
Right.
Oh yeah, that's something we talk about all the time on here, dude, is just, it's easy to get, and that's part of the process too, I think, for a lot of people, is to get caught up then, especially when you discover YouTube and people are talking about this pressing versus that pressing and what, the different codes and all this stuff. And you're starting to look, oh, I need this, this is an OG. Oh, this is a second pressing and all this. It's so easy to get caught up in that before you know it, you're spending tons of money, tons of time.
Yep.
And I've said it before, my New Year's resolution at the beginning of the year was like, I'm just going to chill on that, man. Like, it's just about the music. I don't want to spend all that time, just invested into worrying about that stuff. Cause it wasn't like that when I was younger. When I was a kid, did I care? No, I was watching the music off of MTV or like Brandon said, recording it off the boombox or whatever. So yeah, it's kind of freeing to maybe get to a point where you can just be like, you know what, man, like I just want to hear the music and I like vinyl. Like I need to be good with it and not stress about it. Yes.
And honestly, I found that too, Jason, like when you kind of get to that mindset, it makes like, if I buy an expensive new reissue, it makes me feel better about it. Cause I feel better about the decision. It just feels like a more natural decision. Like, I'm cool with that. I know that's one that I want, so I'm just going to buy it. And like, I'm totally cool with it because, like you said, kind of gone through that other process and it just makes it a like more concrete, okay decision,
Yep. Hell yeah, dude. Anything else that we didn't get to talk about, man? Anything else about the record or anything that you want to say?
No, I just want to thank you guys. I'm really grateful you guys had me on. I'm a fan of you guys first and foremost. I watch all your guys' shows. I saw the recent ones, the room tours. I love the room tours you guys just did. Those were awesome. Yeah, no, I really dig watching you guys, and I think you guys got a really good thing going, and I'm thrilled to be on with you guys.
Yeah, well, we appreciate you being here, dude, and it's been nice just kind of even just being in touch a little bit through the comment section and everything, and now the record is here, and we're stoked for you, man, and we're excited. It's time to party, dude. I think it just came out this week, right?
Yeah, it came out Friday the 13th. It came out. And
nice.
Yeah. 13th.
Yeah, so here. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. No, I just want to make sure we point this out so we don't take it for granted. You're officially in the vinyl world, in the music world, and it's like we got Kiss, we got Heart, we got Scorpions, we got Motley Crue, we got the Stooges,
crazy,
and the Freight is officially a part of it, man.
It's crazy, man.
And the Beatles
is officially a part of it.
I can say I'm in Jason and Brandon's rooms now. That's awesome.
Yeah,
I love it.
You're part of a great lineage now, man. There it is.
I guess my next step is I gotta get behind that. I gotta get behind that red. The curtain, the
red rope.
I gotta get in the VIP area. I gotta get in there.
You're automatically in the VIP section, man. That's exactly where the freight's going. Mark my words.
That's awesome.
Oh, that's perfect, dude. Guys, the band is The Freight. The album is Tales of a Maybe. The website is thefreightband.com.
Yep.
Go snag yourself this piece of wax, man. It's great. You will not regret it. There's a lot of diversity on here. They worked hard on it. It's fantastic. Stream it, whatever you got to do to hear it, man. It's just really cool, dude. And we're privileged to have you, dude. You're now part of the rock and roll lineage. We love it.
Psyched to be here.
All right, guys. Well, we'll see you next time, man. Thanks for being here. Don't forget, check out The Freight. Brandon, glad you were here today. I'm glad we could do this together. This is our first.
Absolutely.
We got a little co-interview thing going here. So also our first guest, Adam. So yeah, you set a standard now.
Yes. Love it.
Absolutely.
Honored.
All right,
Appreciate
you guys.
it, man.
Thanks so much for watching. We'll catch you guys next time.
Have a good one.